everyone! Today we are going to talk about story structure. So normally when you do things in a certain order. So like if I were to talk about getting ready in the morning, I would say, first, I woke up and got out of bed. Next, I ate breakfast in the kitchen. Last, I got on the bus and went to school. So we do things in a certain order all the time. So stories should be no different. So let's look at this anchor chart. It says story structure. So events are things that happen in a story. They are told in sequence or in order. Use details to identify and describe the events. So look at this roller coaster. They start here and then they go up and then they go down. So first, number 1, we use that to describe the most important events that happen in the beginning. So if I were to start my story about getting ready for school, I would say, first, I woke up and got out of bed. Okay? Number 2 is the word next. We use next to describe the most important events that happen in the middle. So I would say, next, I went to the kitchen and ate my breakfast. Okay, number 3, this last one is the word last. We use that word to describe the most important events that happen at the end of a story. So then I would say, last, I got on the bus and I went to school. So that's how we describe the most important events of a story. So first, next, last. Those are our keywords. So we can also use details in both the text and pictures and the words first, next, and last to identify and describe the most important events of a story. So if someone says, well, first we did this, we know that that was super important to the beginning of the story. And next, we know that was super important in the middle. And if they say, and last we did blah, 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 that would be important for the end of the story. So we are going to practice this by reading a story and identifying what happened in the beginning, what happened first, what happened next, and what happened last. Okay, let's read this story. It's called My First Day. So it starts over here and it says, it was my first day of school. There was so much to do. First, we sang. Next, we listened to a story. I did all my work. Then we played. It was fun. Last, we said goodbye. See you tomorrow. So let's talk about this book a little bit. What was the girl busy doing on her first day of school? Okay, well, let's look. She says first we sang. So she was busy singing. Next, we listened to a story, and I did all my work. So she listened to a story and did her work. This is a busy day. Then we played. It was fun. So after that, then she played. That's another thing she did on her busy first day of school. Last, we said goodbye. See you tomorrow. So then she said goodbye to all of her friends and went home. So she did have a really busy day. So how do we know what she did? What happens at the beginning, middle, and ends of our story? So let's go back to these words from our anchor chart. Up here it says first. So at the beginning, the first thing she did is she sang her song. We know that happened at the beginning because they used the word first. First is at the beginning. Okay, well, what happened in the middle of her story? Let's look. Oh, I see our word, next. That means it happened in the middle of the story. So next, we listened to a story. I did all my work. So in the middle of our story, she listened to a story and did all of her work. That was important for the middle of the story. So this word we didn't see, the word then, but that also means in the middle. So then we played. It was fun. So in the middle of the story, she played. That's awesome. Then at the very end, we see this word last. That means at the end of our story. So last, we said goodbye. See you tomorrow. So at the very end of her story, she said goodbye to her friends and that she was going to see them tomorrow. So that's what happened in the beginning, middle, end, and we knew that using our word first. next, last, right? So how do we know the order in which the events happened in the story? So we just kind of talked about that. First means the beginning. We know that this happened at the very beginning of her story. Next happens in the middle. So we know in the middle of her story this is what she did. And last, we know that means at the end, the last thing she did at the very end. And that's how we know. We looked at our words. We used our clue words. Okay? So, yep, these are our words. First at the beginning, next in the middle, last at the end.